We're here to update everyone on the investigation into the death of the 6-month-old child that occurred this past Sunday. To my left, starting at the end, is Jerry Brewster from the Genesee County Sheriff's Department, Assistant Chief Rob Yeager, City Police, Detective Sergeant Todd Crossett, City Police, and District Attorney Larry Friedman. And in the back is Chief Jim Maxwell from the City Fire Police, or City Fire. I'm going to read a press release and then we'll open it up to questions. The Batavia Police Department has arrested Jeffrey Deats, age 28, of 10 Olin Avenue in the city, as a result of an investigation into the death of a 6-month-old child, which occurred on Sunday, December 14th. Jeffrey Deats has been charged with 1 count of manslaughter in the 2nd degree for recklessly causing the death of the child and is currently being held in Genesee County Jail, pending arraignment today at 1:30 in City Court. At approximately 9:48 a.m. on the morning of Sunday, January 14th, Mercy Medics and City Batavia Fire Department EMS personnel were dispatched to 10 Olin Avenue for a reported unresponsive 6-month-old child. Upon arrival, EMS personnel found the child to be unresponsive and not breathing. EMS personnel immediately began efforts to revive the child, who was transported to United Memorial Medical Center in the city, where the child was pronounced dead at 11:20 a.m. Detectives from the Batavia Police Department responded to UMMC, where initial investigation revealed the child was left in the care and custody of Jeffrey Deats by the child's mother on Saturday, January 3rd. Detectives learned that the child was last seen alive at approximately 6:30 a.m., and at approximately 9:30 a.m. it was reported by Deats and another family member that the child was not breathing, and a call to 911 was placed. An autopsy was performed on Monday, December 15th at the Monroe County Medical Examiner's Office. Preliminary information indicated the child suffered from multiple injuries to the brain causing death. The child's body was sent to Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester for further examination. This exam will consist of a full skeletal, neurological, and dental exam. Further details will be released following the completion of those exams. Detectives interviewed Deats along with other witnesses and collected physical evidence over the last few days. The information developed led to the arrest of Jeffrey Deats on the charge of manslaughter in the 2nd degree. City Police worked in conjunction with the Monroe County Medical Examiner's Office, the Genesee County Coroner Karen Lang, the Genesee County Sheriff's Office, the Genesee County District Attorney's Office, New York State Police, and the SUNY Brockport Police. We shall open it up to questions.
So why was Jeffrey Deats arrested?
Jeffrey Deats was arrested as a result of the investigation. Witness statements were obtained, as well as physical evidence leading to the charge.
The question is, was this death caused by what is commonly known as shaken baby syndrome? And I guess the key part of that question is the use of the term commonly known. What I would say is that neither medically or legally do we use that term. And I recognize that it is commonly known as that, and that may be a layman's term for what occurred here, but it's not a term that we would use.
What would you use, sir?
Well, just as the chief said, it's a traumatic brain injury.
How was it caused, sir?
Well, it was caused, our understanding from talking to the medical examiners, it was caused by another person.
Who you believe to be Mr.
Well,
Deats?
certainly.
How did he do this?
Well, again, we're not going to go into great detail now on what was said, but witnesses have been questioned in detail, and there, of course, is the physical evidence and what the medical examiner has told us. But again, neither the police investigation nor the medical examination are complete, and this is very early in the stage, both as far as the police are concerned, the medical examiner's office is concerned, and we're concerned. I mean, the arraignment with counsel has not even occurred yet. Well, first of all, it is a homicide charge. In other words, homicide includes.
So low grade.
Well, homicide includes a murder, manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide. They're all homicide charges. This is a criminal charge. It is a homicide charge.
Why not murder?
Why not murder? Well, generally, murder involves intentionally causing the death of another person. Generally speaking, that's the most common basis for a murder charge, and that is not what is supported by the evidence we currently have.
Did he you get statements, or you have at least a statement to work with from Mr. Deats?
Well, he was interviewed, yes. He was interviewed,
And I'm not
yes.
sure how many people here have actually read Deats' deposition, and he says that he fell down the stairs with the baby. I mean, you have to read that to know that. So he fell down the stairs with his 6-month-old son and then failed to tell anyone.
Okay.
So that's essentially how this happened, correct?
All I can tell you, first of all, is that as you're all, I'm sure, aware, under the Fair Trial Free Press guidelines, we are prohibited from discussing the content of statements made by defendants. So I can't discuss the contents of any statements. You're talking about the timeline between
When he was
what?
last seen alive and then when.
Okay, but certainly that's a factor in the conclusions that have been reached to this case, yes. As to the cause of the death, the time of when injuries may have been inflicted, and the time it was reported, yes.
Were there any other people present in the residence in the hours leading up to the ambulance call, or
Again, I'm not going to talk about that type of detail at this point.
are they just saying stuff that they believe happened?
You know, again, I guess I'm not going to go into that kind of detail at this point.
Mr. Deats known to you, Chief, do you have prior contact with the police?
Yes, we've had prior contact with Jeffrey Deats in the past. I don't have his criminal history in front of me, but he is known to the police department, yes.
Well, do you know what kind of contact you've had? I mean, is this a violent person?
Again, we've had several contacts with him. He has been arrested on numerous occasions. He does have a criminal history.
Was it for domestic abuse or DWI or?
I couldn't speak to that without having that.
Can you tell me a little bit about the involvement of the SUNY Brockport police?
SUNY Brockport Police assisted us with doing some witness interviews.
People go to school there, or?
One of our witnesses was in that area at that time, so our investigators went down there to ask some questions and were assisted by the SUNY Brockport Police.
Well, witnesses, you know, it doesn't necessarily, the question was asked before, are we talking about eyewitnesses or people who have information? Witnesses are obviously not just inclusive of people who saw a crime being committed. You know, there can be witnesses certainly to surrounding circumstances. So there are a number of people that have been interviewed about this case, certainly, and but that's not the same thing as saying that there are people who saw the injuries being caused. Well,
Surrounding,
you know,
what I'm saying?
again, you know, this relates to a great extent to the timing of this. Not only the timing that we're at the early stage of the legal proceeding, as I said, but also this is an ongoing investigation. And, you know, both as far as the police investigation, our involvement, and the medical examiners. So I think the answer to your question is no, I can't. Yes.
Is the maximum on man two still 5 to 15, sir?
Well, yes, yes.
These people had, is he a boyfriend, is he the father of
Well,
the child?
To answer the last part of your question, the information we have is that he's the father of the child.
Is he married to the mother of the child?
No.
So these people are just verifying that yes, indeed, he's the father and they've had a relationship?
No, as far as witnesses, they're talking about surrounding circumstances as to what occurred that night, that morning, what happened, what didn't happen, and, you know, the information they have. And that's all part of the investigation.
Any indication or anything like that?
I wouldn't refer to this as negligence, no. I mean, and I guess to be more clear on what I'm saying is, negligence is often a civil term. You know, you go from negligence to criminal negligence to recklessness, and then up to intent. And what we're dealing with here, as far as the charge of manslaughter in the second degree, is recklessness.
Mr. Friedland, could you give us a layman's definition of manslaughter too?
Manslaughter, basically, in its simplest form, is recklessly causing the death of another person.
Manslaughter too?
Right, right. Recklessly causing the death of another person. Okay, I guess there's an assumption there. This was not at the residence of the baby's mother.
Is this a tough case to investigate, given the age of the victim?
Well, I mean, obviously in any homicide, you don't have the ability to interview the victim. So I don't know as that is any different. I mean, it's investigated by by interviewing people who have knowledge and by the medical conclusions.
Well, how tough is it for you guys? You got kids?
I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, you got kids.
Well, of course,
I
of
mean,
course,
I
of
mean,
course. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, these cases are always very difficult, you know, particularly when a baby is involved.
Is it obvious that the child was hit?
Okay, I don't think we've used the term hit as far as what happened to the child. It's injury to the brain, which does not necessarily involve the child being hit. In other words, obviously, this charge is not based on it being simply an accident. Anything else?
To follow up earlier, I mean,